Hello everyone, this is my first YouTube video, so apologies for not being super put together with this, but I'm going to just kind of test this out and see how it works out for me. My channel is Leo's Harmony. I do have my own Etsy shop where I am currently only doing written readings and not video recordings. Um, so for this video, I just really wanted to make a one pile reading, just a really general reading to kind of like get a hold of like what I need to do and what I need to change and how I should actually record my videos. So let me know if you like this style. If you think that I should do something different, then please also let me know. But let's get started with the reading. And this will be very general. Um, so let's see what your guides have to say. I like to shuffle 3 times just because I like that number. Let's see. Let's get some cards. So your first card is the Hanged Man. The Ace of Wands, okay. King of Pentacles. Let me try to make that straight for the video. Six of Pentacles. Oh, this one kind of popped out. Page of Cups. Let's get maybe 1 or 2 more. Get 1 more. And it seems like one kind of popped out, sorry. Here's Justice. I'll just leave that here. Okay, so Six of Pentacles kind of talks about like giving and taking. And since there's a couple cards here, I'm kind of seeing this as like the middle. And this is like its own separate group, and this is its own separate group. So uh, there's also Justice down here. And this is in relation to this give and take card. Here you have the Hanged Man, the Ace of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. The Wands usually talks about your passions, and the Pentacles can be something monetary or something that in relation to like your earthly values. The Hanged Man can kind of be about beginnings in a way, where you're kind of like trying to let go and like start something new. And then Page of Cups here can talk about your emotions and like how fruitful they can be. Ace of Swords. Swords is more about your mind and like your thoughts, and this is an ace is always about a beginning. The Wheel is an interesting card because it kind of talks about how you can kind of either start something new or like something's destined, or you kind of like either cycle through some type of karma. In relation to this reading, I think this is more about destiny. Six of Pentacles is more about give and take. So, in one way, I'm seeing that we have 2 different aces here, which can mean that these are both about beginnings here. This give and take it's kind of like a scale, if you kind of notice this, which is kind of interesting. The Justice card talks about these scales, and you're kind of juggling these 2 decisions, maybe, or like trying to like let go of comfort to go for something else, or like I really don't know what I want. Um, so maybe some of you are making a decision right now, and your guides are just kind of coming out and saying, hey, like, you know, I really don't think that either way this can go wrong. In one way, you're kind of starting something maybe new and following your passions, and maybe it's something that'll really bring you that monetary value that you want. And in another way, um, you're kind of doing something that you already thought of. But in a way, this is kind of like destiny for you. And it still will like fulfill your emotions. Um, let's get a couple more cards for each side, and then maybe we can take a look from there on like what's really happening. So let's get one for the left side and see what's happening there. Four of Swords, and talk about healing. The Devil, so you're really tempted to kind of go with this new pile. Eight of Swords. So maybe this pile isn't necessarily the best decision for you. Maybe it's something where you're kind of learning how to heal through this pile if you do make this decision. With the Devil here, it can talk about temptation. With the Eight of Swords, it can kind of talk about how you're really in your head about stuff. And the Four of Swords here, like I said, talks about healing. So maybe, although it kind of seems like this is like a really good choice and you're doing something new, these cards are kind of talking about how, in a way, it could be a decision that'll force you to heal through stuff, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but um, it may be a difficult pile. But let's pull some cards here to make sure that there's nothing that's missing from this reading. The High Priestess, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Cups. So you kind of notice how we have like all these really powerful womanly type of figures in these cards. Um, the High Priestess, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Cups. So it's kind of like whatever you already thought of, whatever plan you already made, it seems like this is already the best choice for you. Uh, the High Priestess is, someone who's very in tune with like their spirit. Queen of Swords, someone very in tune with their thoughts, and then the Queen of Cups, someone very in tune with their emotions. So it's kind of like you're making this decision and these thoughts on this side based on what's meant for you. And if we go back to the wheel, it talks about destiny. So, like, what you're doing here, this is kind of what you're meant to do. Although this seems like a really good idea, like, ooh, let's chase the money, let's chase what I really want. Um, maybe it's just not the time for that right now. And that's okay because it doesn't mean that it'll be over. Maybe it just means that it's a later thing for you. Maybe this is what will help you get to the stuff that you really want. You're kind of just like putting down the seeds and letting it grow, and then you can kind of chase after this. But if you make this decision here, you're not really going to be fulfilled. You're going to go through some really tough healing. Um, maybe even some pain along the way, but that's part of this journey here. Uh, so if this video like really found you, then and you are making a decision about something, go for whatever you already thought, whatever you already planned, whatever you already know, because this is what's right for you. This new thing here isn't necessarily something that's meant for you right now. Again, it can be something that's meant for you later. But this is like your destiny to do this because you kind of are on the right path, and it's kind of like, ooh, I'm questioning myself. this is really tempting, but the devil is about temptation as well. So be careful with that. Um, so yeah, you basically know what you need to do. I don't think this is a very difficult reading with a really hidden message or anything. Let us get a few closing cards to kind of end the reading here, since this will be a little short. Yeah, the Magician. The King of Wands. The Five of Pentacles. And the King of Swords. So one thing that's kind of standing out to me is the yellow. I don't remember too much about like the chakras and like the colors associated with them, but I think that is something that's really standing out in all of these cards, and it's maybe something that you need to work on. So whatever color, whatever chakra is associated with yellow, maybe that's something that you need to look into. Um, and whatever is blue is kind of like, oh, this is like the end result. Um, with the Magician, you have someone who can basically manifest anything that they want. The King of Wands, someone who is so passionate about something, and it's always like this like leadership type of position. Five of Pentacles, it's where it kind of goes a little downhill. Maybe you're losing hope and you've kind of like lost a lot already. Um, maybe you don't think you're gonna make enough money with a decision that you don't like. Um, the King of Swords is kind of like the ending of that, where here it's very much telling you like this thought that you have is wrong and you're basically meant to be doing this. And uh, the king is someone who's very mentally stable, who knows that they're right and doesn't really question things, that they know everything will work out in the end. So even though there is like this period of like, oh, but what if, they're your guys are basically saying not to worry, that things are meant to happen at the way that they are. So just breathe, relax, and everything will be fine. Um, but yeah, the yellow is really standing out here. So I would really look into that. The blue is something that'll be the end result. Like maybe the yellow, whatever color is associated with yellow in the chakras, are blocking whatever is the blue chakra. I would very much look into that. Um, Let me see if I can pull maybe two more cards to get a final message. Yeah. Let me move that up a little bit. If you kind of notice, it kind of seems like this yellow is still in the background here. But it's a little bit more green. And the um the Chariot is also there. So the Queen of Pentacles um isn't really worried. She's there. She knows everything is gonna work out. She knows her money's tight. She knows she's locked and loaded. She's satisfied with her earthly attachments. She's fine with what she has around her. and the Chariot is something that will happen like very quickly. So maybe this decision isn't something that you have to like wait on. Maybe it's something that has to be decided kind of soon, and that's okay. But we already have the answer here, so there really is nothing to worry about. Do whatever plan you already had, whatever thought you had, not this new thing that kind of fell into your life and is kind of tempting you here. Um, whether this is like a major decision or something really small, uh, we don't really know. Maybe it's a new job, maybe you're deciding on something about a relationship, or maybe you are wanting to do something new in your life that's really huge. Um, I guess that would be much more up to your interpretation, and maybe not everything in this video will resonate with you, and that's also okay. Um, but yeah, this should be the end of the video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you do make this right decision here, and I hope that everything works out for you. Thank you for watching.